In today's video, we'll dive into the exciting realm of game theory experimentation in lean startups and how it can pave the way for groundbreaking innovation. So let's get started. To comprehend the significance of game theory experimentation in lean startups, we must first understand the core principles of both concepts.
Got a coffee break? Embrace your inner wolf, step up. Forget titles and hierarchies. It's all about problem solving. Lead or follow to ignite outcomes. Play your part, embody our brand. Zero excuses. Build your wolf pack, savor victory. Validate your expertise, attain mastery. The road to freedom awaits. Engage, flaunt our brand. Unleash your power at buildyourwolfpack.com. Unleash now at buildyourwolfpack.com.
Number 4. The synergy of game theory and lean startups. Let's explore the powerful synergy between game theory and lean startups. By integrating game theory concepts into the lean startup methodology, entrepreneurs can unlock new dimensions of innovation and strategic decision-making. In the context of lean startups, game theory adds value in several ways: predicting and understanding customer behavior. Game theory helps entrepreneurs view customer interactions as strategic games. By examining the incentives and motivations of customers, startups can predict and analyze their behavior, leading to more accurate customer segmentation, product positioning, and effective marketing strategies. Strategic pricing decisions. Pricing is a critical element of any business, and game theory provides a framework for analyzing the competitive landscape and predicting the response of competitors to pricing strategies. Startups can strategically adjust their pricing based on game theory models to maximize market share and profitability. Efficient resource allocation. Startups often face resource constraints, and game theory aids in making optimal resource allocation decisions. By considering how resource allocation affects relationships with suppliers, partners, and competitors, startups can allocate their resources more efficiently and strategically. Competitive analysis and strategy formulation. Game theory equips entrepreneurs with tools to analyze and understand competitive dynamics. By predicting competitors' moves and considering multiple scenarios, startups can design counter-strategies and gain a competitive advantage. Business development and negotiations. Game theory is invaluable in partnership negotiations and business development efforts. Startups can use game theory principles to structure agreements that create mutually beneficial outcomes while mitigating risks. When integrated into the lean startup methodology, game theory encourages entrepreneurs to approach their decision-making and experimentation with a strategic mindset. It provides a framework for analyzing complex interactions, predicting outcomes, and strategically adapting business models and strategies. Number 3. The value of game theory in business development. Game theory offers significant value in the realm of business development, particularly when it comes to negotiating partnerships, joint ventures, or other collaborative initiatives. Here are some key ways in which game theory adds value in the context of business development. Strategic negotiation. Game theory provides a structured approach to negotiation by analyzing the strategic interactions between parties. It helps entrepreneurs understand the motives, preferences, and potential actions of their negotiation counterparts. By applying game theory concepts such as equilibrium analysis and the concept of Nash equilibrium, startups can devise optimal negotiation strategies that maximize their outcomes while considering the interests of all parties involved. Identifying and evaluating alternatives. Game theory assists in identifying and evaluating alternative business development opportunities. By modeling the strategic interactions between potential partners or collaborators, startups can assess the potential risks, benefits, and trade-offs associated with each option. Game theory enables entrepreneurs to make informed decisions about whether to pursue partnerships, acquisitions, or other collaborations based on the potential outcomes and strategic fit. Assessing competitive dynamics. Game theory helps entrepreneurs understand the competitive dynamics within the market. By analyzing the strategies and potential moves of competitors, startups can assess their competitive position and devise counter-strategies. This understanding of competitive dynamics is vital in business development activities, as it helps startups identify unique value propositions, differentiate themselves, and position themselves advantageously in the market. Risk mitigation and contract design. Game theory aids in mitigating risks and designing contracts that protect the interests of all parties involved. Through game theory analysis, entrepreneurs can anticipate potential conflicts, misalignments of incentives, and strategic behavior. This understanding allows startups to design contracts and agreements that address potential issues, minimize risks, and create a fair and sustainable framework for collaboration. Evaluating long-term strategic impact. Business development decisions can have long-term strategic implications for startups. Game theory provides a framework to assess the potential impact of different partnership or collaboration scenarios on the overall competitive landscape and market dynamics. By considering the strategic implications of each decision, startups can make informed choices that align with their long-term vision and growth objectives. Number 2. Applying game theory in lean startup experiments. Let's now explore how game theory experimentation fits into the lean startup framework. Startups can design experiments inspired by game theory, implementing strategic changes to their products, services, or business models, and measuring the impact of these changes through rigorous testing and analysis. Here are some key steps to apply game theory in lean startup experiments. Define the experiment objective. Clearly define the objective of the experiment within the context of your startup's goals. Identify the specific problem, opportunity, or hypothesis you aim to address or test through the experiment. Identify relevant stakeholders. Identify the stakeholders involved in the experiment, such as customers, competitors, suppliers, or partners. Understand their motivations, goals, and potential actions within the experiment. Analyze strategic interactions. Apply game theory to analyze the strategic interactions between different stakeholders within the experiment. Consider how each stakeholder's decisions and actions may influence others and impact the overall outcome. Design experimental scenarios. Develop different scenarios or variations of the experiment based on the strategic interactions identified. Consider how changes in variables, incentives, or strategies can affect stakeholder behavior and outcomes. These scenarios should reflect the strategic choices that stakeholders may face in real-world situations. Formulate hypotheses. Based on the experimental scenarios, formulate hypotheses about the expected outcomes and stakeholder behavior. Use game theory to predict how stakeholders might respond and adapt their strategies in each scenario. Implement the experiment. Execute the experiment, carefully controlling the variables and implementing the different scenarios or variations. Collect relevant data and measurements to evaluate the outcomes and stakeholder behavior. Analyze results. Analyze the data collected during the experiment to evaluate the outcomes and validate or reject the hypotheses formulated. Use game theory concepts to interpret the results and understand the strategic dynamics at play. Learn and iterate. Based on the experiment results, gain insights into stakeholder behavior, market dynamics, and strategic opportunities. Apply the learnings to refine your startup's strategies, business models, or product or service offerings. Iteratively refine your experiments based on the feedback and insights gained. Incorporate strategic changes. Based on the insights gained from the experiments, make strategic changes to your startup's approach, incorporating the findings to optimize decision-making, resource allocation, pricing strategies, competitive positioning, or partnership negotiations. Measure impact and adjust. Continuously measure the impact of the strategic changes implemented as a result of the experiments. Assess whether the desired outcomes and improvements are being achieved. Adjust and refine your strategies based on the ongoing feedback loop of measurement, analysis, and adjustment. Number 1. Best practices for game theory experimentation in lean startups. Here are some key best practices to consider. Clearly define objectives. Clearly define the objectives of your game theory experiments. Ensure that they align with your startup's overall goals and address specific hypotheses, problems, or opportunities. Clearly articulating the objectives helps focus the experimentation process and ensures meaningful outcomes. Use realistic assumptions. Make realistic assumptions about the behaviors, motivations, and constraints of the stakeholders involved in your experiments. The accuracy of your assumptions is crucial for developing accurate models and predictions based on game theory principles. Rigorous data collection. Collect data meticulously to measure and evaluate the outcomes of your experiments. Ensure that the data collected is reliable, relevant, and sufficient to validate or reject your hypotheses. Implement proper data collection methods and tools to minimize bias and inaccuracies. Iterative experimentation. Embrace the iterative nature of lean startup experimentation. Start with small-scale experiments and gradually refine your models, hypotheses, and strategies based on the insights gained. Iterative experimentation allows you to learn, adapt, and make informed decisions as you progress. Collaborative approach. Foster collaboration and involvement among team members and stakeholders in the experimentation process. Encourage cross-functional collaboration to leverage diverse perspectives and expertise. Collaborative discussions can help refine models, assumptions, and strategies, leading to more robust experiments. Test multiple scenarios. Develop multiple scenarios or variations of your experiments to test different strategies, incentives, or stakeholder behaviors. Consider a range of possibilities to capture the complexity of real-world interactions. Testing multiple scenarios allows you to explore different outcomes and gain a comprehensive understanding of strategic dynamics. Balance realism and simplicity. Aim for a balance between realism and simplicity when designing your experiments. While it's important to capture the complexity of real-world interactions, overly complex models can be challenging to analyze and interpret. Keep your experiments manageable and focus on the most critical factors. Measure impact in feedback. Continuously measure the impact of your experiments and collect feedback from stakeholders. Assess whether the strategic changes implemented based on the experiments are achieving the desired outcomes. Use this feedback to adjust and refine your strategies iteratively. Document and share findings. Document the process, methodologies, and findings of your game theory experiments. This documentation helps create a knowledge base for your startup and ensures that insights are captured and shared among team members. It also facilitates learning and supports future decision-making. Learn from failures. Embrace failures as learning opportunities. Not all experiments will yield the desired outcomes, but each failure provides valuable insights. Analyze failures. Identify the reasons behind them, and use that knowledge to refine your strategies and future experiments. We hope this video provided valuable insights and inspiration for your entrepreneurial endeavors.